It's the country that prides of itself of being the country of hospitality, Senegal. So it's the land of hospitality, the pays de la Teranga. So we welcome you to the land of hospitality and to Trust Africa. And we hope this will be a memorable experience, and for very good reasons. That not, experiences can be memorable for different reasons, but we hope you will have a very great experience being here. It's a real pleasure welcoming you to this meeting. Although we probably should have reversed the roles because I'm attending these forums for the first time, and the colleagues, Gladys Briggs and others, have been dealing with you over a much longer period, and maybe you should welcome me. But I'm really happy and I feel privileged to have the chance of, being here with you and for having finally a chance of meeting you after having read the projects, the proposals, and the different reports that have been produced during the last 2 years or so since this program was launched. It is an extremely important initiative that was and is still very timely. As we all know, it came at a time when the disruptions caused by the COVID pandemic were so deep, so profound, and so disorienting that having an initiative like this one that enabled organizations of civil society to bounce back, to resume work, and not only to deal with their own issues and operations, which was probably the most fantastic part of this initiative, to have the possibility of just, continue to work and operate as an organization, but also to have a chance to, get resources to resume activities, even if it's in a limited way. And so that was an extremely good thing and a timely initiative. And it is thanks to the generosity of our friends of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, who we would like to thank sincerely. Jean, thank you for the support and for the friendship. And I think where we are now with 2 cohorts, we've seen, I think, enough of this program to be convinced that this kind of initiative is still needed, and it's probably even more needed today than it ever was, right, in the past, for all the reasons that we know. For all the reasons that we know. The disruptions, a few years ago, we were talking about what the COVID pandemic caused. Today, it's for a completely different reason that the questions are being posed. The anxieties are going up. The uncertainty about the future, of funding of the support to civil society and to development activities is being posed. But and that, I think, it's also an indication of not only the rapidity of change. We knew that change was happening, and it continues to happen, at a very rapid pace, right? At a very fast pace, for all kinds of reasons. Technology being part of it, other things being part of it as well. And then there are the changes that maybe you don't see happening, but you feel as they unfold. Changes that are at every level, at the global level, that have an impact on our daily lives, that have an impact on the lives of organizations, whether we're talking about climate change, or other kinds of changes that exist. So it makes, the fragility and the vulnerability of our societies, of our economies, of our organizations, even more apparent, in the face of these changes that are happening. Because one never knows what hold on to, or how long, we are around. And it makes the issue of resilience that is discussed in the concept note for this meeting even more critical and more important. And it makes the whole issue of not only the present but the future even much more uncertain, much more critical, and how do we prepare ourselves for for futures that we have no idea of how they would be evolving, how they would be unfolding in front of our eyes, right? And that is, it means, therefore, investing in organizations and in institutions and making them stronger, making them much better grounded, much better rooted in the societies and cultures and communities in which they are, in a much more deep way, in a much deeper way. It makes that much more, even more important, again. And it also speaks to the importance of not only being resilient, organizations being resilient and strong, but also being agile, in a sense, to be able to adapt to changing situations. And that is a conversation that's happening actually everywhere now. People are talking about the future of work, the future of education. We happen across Africa to be part of a global conversation, actually, about the futures of education, and with UNESCO leading this. And the question was, when everything is changing, what kind of education do our children need, do our societies need, to be able to adapt to changes that we don't even know what they are going to be like? And so UNESCO had previous reports before. At one point, they had, it was understood that as a child or as a young person, you would say, okay, I want to train myself to be something, to be a doctor or a lawyer or a teacher, something that was pretty straightforward. And you could, see yourself going through a process and then later on reaching a level at which you feel that you are now capable to exercise a profession. These days, the thinking is that with the changes that are taking place, it is better to invest in the capabilities to adapt to uncertain futures, to things that we have no ideas as they will evolve. And that is a much better investment than to say you're investing in training somebody to specialize in one particular thing, or one particular area, one particular field. And I think that kind of reflection, if you transpose it to the whole issue of civil society and what is happening, we see again the importance of making sure that we have not only the resilience, the strength, but also the agility that is required so that people can adapt, organizations can adapt to new situations as they evolve. The program, right now where we are at the level of South Africa, we are reflecting precisely on all these issues, which is why I'm sharing these thoughts with you. We are in a strategy session. Immediately after this meeting, we are reconvening here in Sall from Friday, actually, to resume a conversation on the future of South Africa, on the strategy of South Africa. And it is a deep conversation that we began a year and a half ago already. And it's about re-envisioning South Africa. That's how we are framing it, re-envisioning South Africa. The mission, we feel, is relevant, and it will remain relevant. But how do you understand the mission in a context that is changing? To have a creative application of it, a creative interpretation of it, that makes, that will help in making South Africa to continue to be relevant, to be able to address the challenges, to be able to play the role that it is playing in our societies, that are evolving. From whatever angle you look at it, governance, economy, values, everything is changing, So how do you ensure that you have an organization that continues to be relevant, true to itself, but not in a dogmatic way, but in a way that enables us to have a creative and imaginative interpretation of our mission that enables us to remain relevant and to continue playing a leading role as a convener in the civic space of Africa. And so this is really a timely initiative, and therefore we are saying what we have seen of this program already is a demonstration. If we needed a proof of concept, we think that has been established already. We have a proof of concept. We have seen the organization do extremely well with the resources that they had to work with during the period. So it is, I think we have enough now to be able to engage others to come out and say, look, we now can confidently speak about this initiative as an initiative that is necessary. And the questions posed in the concept note, and that we are going to reflect upon over the next 2 days, are about ways of continuing this kind of work, making sure that organizations, continue to think about ways of remaining strong, expanding their the programs when that is required, but also probably having an infrastructure, that will enable us to continue functioning. That whole notion of an infrastructure in an ecosystem, that is also robust, is actually at the end of the day what is even more beneficial. And one of the colleagues who are here in the room, she introduced herself earlier on, Dorothy, is managing an initiative that we launched 2 years ago or so, 2.5 years ago now, with Urgent Action Fund Africa, which is a feminist organization, Pan-African. And together we thought we needed to think about African philanthropy maybe in new ways. We need to come together, pool our resources and our energies, and do something that individually we wouldn't be able to do, and create an infrastructure or work towards strengthening the infrastructure for philanthropy in Africa that will do the kinds of things that this program is doing with civil society organizations. And so, again, to underscore the importance of the initiative, and it has, also been a demonstration of the fact that we needed it. And so all this is about, for us, how do we get civil society to address ongoing challenges of all the different types that we know, but also to participate in the change processes, in the transformation processes that are unfolding, to work towards achieving sustainable development goals, Agenda 2063, which sort of overlap to a large extent, but also continue to address the problems of development on this continent, and do it in such a way that we deal with the injustices of the past, the inequalities that have been there, that have been making life difficult for a lot of people and organizations and communities, and we draw lessons from those issues to make sure that the futures we imagine, the futures we are seeking to build, will be futures that are anchored on justice, will be futures in which we will also be repairing some of the harms and damages of the past, but the futures that will be, futures in which everybody will have a space. So if the saying that goes with the sustainable development goals, leaving nobody behind, has to have a meaning, we feel these are the kinds of things that will, and mechanisms that will enable us to have societies in which we are leaving nobody behind because they are poor, because they are women, or because they are under resourced, or because they are located in parts of our countries that are difficult to reach. And so I would like to thank once again Jean personally for the commitment and the support we've been getting. Because, for these things to work in an organization, you need champions and you need friends in these organizations who make a case that actually what these people are doing is important. Thank you very much. And thanks to the foundation. And thanks to all of you for being part of this and for demonstrating also through your work and your engagement that, this is important. And we are not going to stop here. We will reflect on ways of staying together, building networks and mechanisms and communication channels that will enable us to continue working together. People talk about a community of practice. We are simply a community of Africans who want to make this continent better. Okay, everybody in their own ways. And that is the best way in which we can also demonstrate that in trying to find answers to the problems of the world, we are playing a role that is critical. So thanks all. Thank you very much.